In this lesson, we're going to continue to add parts to the boiler. We're going to make another piece that we're going to use a conform brush on. We're going to do the second one right here. And then the third one I'm going to leave you to your own. You should have a grasp on the technique. So we're going to do this second one right now. It's a little different than the first, but not a big deal. So over to Create, MVH Primitives, Tube Cap. Let's go to the left viewport. And you're going to notice a lot of this is repetitive, but that's the way you learn. So I'd rather show you a couple times and you have the technique in your head than not do enough. So here we go. Sometimes it might be a little behind, so I'm hitting F3 to check the diameter. That looks good. Inset by letting go. You let go and click again. And there you have your tube cap. I'm going to adjust a little bit that way. There we go. And I'm going to go again with 24 segments, just because it worked out well for the last one. And we're going to convert that to an edit poly. I'm going to rotate it with the rotate tool. Angle snaps are on. Rotate 90 degrees. You can see it down at the bottom. It says 90. Okay, that's where we want it. Perspective. F4 to show you wireframe. And there we go. It's pretty much where we want it. And we're going to do the same technique. I think this one's a little squarer looking than the last one, so we're going to modify it a little bit. Same way we did the last. We're going to go to Vertex. Let's go to top viewport, zoom in a little bit. Could select them all. It's the same as selecting the object or the element. And let's just scale it out this way. And then we're going to go select right there. How many do we have? We have 18, so we're going to do the same on the other side. This should be 36 total when we're done, which it is. We're going to push them out a little bit. Then we're going to deselect holding down Alt. We're going to take off 8 on each side, just like that. And we'll scale them in a little bit. Deselect these, 2 more, and 2 more. Scale this in a little bit. Let's deselect 4 more on each end. Scale that in. That's very similar to what we had before. But what we're going to do, I think, is grab these. This should be a dozen, 12, yep, 12 vertices. Scale them in a little bit. Let's deselect everything but the center 4. Let's scale them in a little bit. Right there. And that's kind of a little bit more of a square shape. I think it needs to be a little bigger, so we'll just scale it a little bit. Let's go to perspective, zoom in. And there we go. That looks about right. So now what we'll do, go to freeform as we did earlier. Surface, boiler is still selected, so we're good. The offset is still the same. If we go to conform, the strengths are all set the same. Remember, full strength is 100, conform is 100. The brush is showing, so it's working right now. I'm just going to left click, paint that mesh down onto the boiler just as I did before. And you can see there it is. So we can exit the conform brush, just click it out. And we have our shape. So we're going to just go in with the move tool, which is active. I'm going to shift this up a little bit. Border select, select this border. Going to shift drag it up. Roll down here. We're going to go to planar along the Z as we did earlier. Going a little quicker this time. Shift drag it up again. Going to grab the other border, the base border, and we're going to give it the thickness it needs. We're going to shift and drag that down. Reselect the top border again. We're going to do R for scale. And we're going to hold down Shift and scale. Let's move that up a little. Just like that. Same process as before. We're going to scale it again. Shift, scale. And now with that border right there, we're going to go into Graphite Modeling Tools tab instead of Freeform. We're going to cap that poly. Let's Alt Q to isolate that. Paint Connect, P Connect. And again, Control, square appears, hold down Control, go across. I let go of Control and I do the process again. I don't hold it down the whole time. So I'm going to re-hold Control, get the square, go across, repeat the process. So that's what we're doing here. Keep repeating the process. I'm going to do one more on each end. Okay. And now I'm going to go in the center here, Control, get the square, let go, all the way across to the last edge, and then control again, hold down and connect. Repeat the process. Repeat the process here. Okay, we have all quads right now. So earlier I didn't show you how to correct these little zigzags because we're drawing them freehand, so I'll do that right now. Let's click out, go to edge selection, Alt and L for the loop. Let's deselect all of these edges and all of these edges. And now we can go down to planar. Should be X, I think. Yes, it is. And we can also hit Shift and X, turn on your edge constraints. Let's make sure they are on. They are. Use your move tool and slightly just shift that out. I know it's not a perfect line anymore, but you get better spacing that way. You also have a loop dot tool, which is in the loops right here. Let's see what we have. Flow connect, distance connect, loop tools. Well, I'm not sure exactly. Let me find it. Well, let's just select these loops for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, right across. Let's do along X, which is where we want it. Shift it a little bit. Do the same here. Things are positioned a little differently because of the size of my viewport right now, but it's working out. That was a mistake. Deselect that edge. Get this edge right here. Let's X. And let's slide that. We still have edge constraints going, so that works out well. Let's do it over here again as well. And shift it out a little bit. It's a little better spacing. Okay, so we can exit isolation. Hit T 3 times to apply a turbo smooth. F4. And there you go. Let's add one more iteration there. And that looks good. Go to left viewport. We'll scale that just this way. Alt and X to see if it matches, and it does. The perspective again. Get a good look at that. So you have it. We have another one of those portals. We have to rename it, of course. We'll call that one portal 2-01. That's the second portal. Done. Let's save our file. File is saved. And I'm going to leave that last portal up to you guys. You think you can do it on your own now? You have the technique down. And in the next lesson, we'll start to add some of the other details around the boiler.